It's the most wonderful time of the year. And you know what we say this time of year. Boo. Steve Buechele joins the show. Yeah, I think we usually say Merry Christmas, but I'm saying boo because we got Boo in the house. We're talking baseball, off-season moves, a busy night of activity for the Rangers, and it's all next on the DLLS Rangers Podcast. Better to get off-season insight from than a guy who's pretty much done it all in the Rangers organization. It's the DLLS Rangers Podcast, and yeah, Steve Buechele has been a player. He's been a manager at the minor league level. He's been a coach at the major league level, and he's been a broadcaster. Did I miss anything, Boo?
No, I think that about covers it.
Covers it. We got Boo, we got J-Dub, we got me, Rads, and the Prophet over here, and we know you are there too. We appreciate you. It's going to be a fun day talking with Boo, and we want you to join in. If you got questions for him, shoot them along in the chat there, and don't forget to like and subscribe to us. If you've been watching the show for a minute, you know the first order of business when we have a guest on the show. And I'll say this, Boo. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So we want to make sure our guests feel welcome. And it's great for us because that means Jeff and I get to drink too. So
this is so good.
Yeah, what the heck, you know?
I'm trading in coffee for
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff barely finished his morning coffee. And you still got a little left. Well, that's good. You can chase the beer with it.
All right.
Little beer, it's not quite morning beer, right? It's afternoon beer. So, Boo, great to have you. And I know a lot of our viewers and listeners out there wonder because we hadn't seen you on the games.
Right.
What'd you do this season when you were Noel? Because then look, we've talked at length about the whole Bally crap, so they all know that we all whatever. But what did you do this season? Just kind of hang out?
Yeah, kind of hung out. As I've told you and I told Jeff a little bit, last year was weird for me not doing the TV. Kind of checked out of baseball a little bit. Watched some games, but didn't watch a full baseball game until the first game of the World Series.
No kidding.
That's an honest to God fact. And I got a new hip. June 1st last year, I had a hip replacement, so that took me through the summer. Took up some of my time, but I certainly missed being around the game. It was a bummer to not be out at the ballpark.
Yeah. So the biggest question about the hip: Are you able to get back on a golf course?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now the other hip's starting to act up.
You're not running any marathons.
No, I'm not running at all.
All right. So big news from the Rangers last night, and not huge, but big. Because they've added another bullpen piece, Jeff. It's a Fort Worth guy.
Yeah.
And it's a guy who, in 2023 had ridiculously good numbers in the Brewers bullpen.
Yeah.
And this past year, it looked like his numbers were up a little. But if you look at the advanced metrics, Hoby Milner had some pretty good numbers last year, too.
Yeah. If you're a believer in
advanced metrics,
fielding, independent pitching,
he's
been really consistent the last 3 years. He probably overperformed in 23, underperformed this year. He wasn't great against lefties this year, but traditionally he has been. Lefties had like a 469 slugging percentage, which isn't good for a lefty.
For a lefty, yeah.
Right.
But his career splits are it's much lower. So maybe a rebound guy. He was non-tendered by the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
So and he was only supposed to make like 2.7 in arbitration. So it looks like another value signing, kind of along the Jacob Webb line, which could allow the Rangers to, still have some powder dry for a bigger arm. And they still need one. They still, the Hoby Milner's not a closer, and neither did Jacob Webb. But there are closers out there, as we've talked about.
Yeah, and we feel like they're probably going to be in on them. And Boo, with your experience in off seasons, especially when you were a coach at the major league level, it seems like sort of rebuilding, especially the guts of a bullpen, is a fairly common practice.
It's a common practice, but this year for the Rangers, it's a dire need, in my opinion. I think they've got to get this down. And if you just look at their starters or the projected starters or potential starters for next year, there are guys that are going to be limited. They're going to be observed. They're going to be cut back a little bit on their innings, and you're going to need arms down in that bullpen. And I think they're. I don't want to make it sound like they're collecting bullpen arms, but they're going after arms right now. They're badly needed.
Well, and they have a lot of optionable guys, so that's going to help as well. But when you look at the guys that they had coming back, none of them have any experience really. So these are all guys who can go up and down and come up, after a night where you use 6 relievers or something like that. So, and they're talented guys.
And they got talented guys that can do both. We've seen Dane Dunning be great starting and in the bullpen. We've seen Cody Bradford do the same. Actually, Cody Bradford, I thought coming out of the bullpen was really good. But then that leaves you with guys like Leiter and Rocker, DeGrom. Those guys for sure are going to be limited in how they go about, especially early in the season. So the bullpen, it's going to be it's just a huge need. It's very important.
And so when a coaching staff knows, and above the coaching staff too, the front office knows you've got to limit these guys. Is that a mandate from the beginning of the year, Boo? Is that something where, maybe even as far back as spring training, you're like, hey, we can't overtax these guys?
I think so. They're all coming off of surgeries. DeGrom is second one. I just think they're going to make sure he's healthy going into the season, whether he starts the year off with a pitch limit or a pitch count limit, which I'm sure he will. Same thing with Rocker. The good news is he's healthy and threw the ball great last year, but going into next year, he's going to be limited. Jack Leiter, the same thing. The good, the bad, the ups and downs. He's had some tremendous starts. He's actually looked good out of the bullpen as well. So you got guys that can go both ways. But you got to cover 9 innings somehow, and in the big leagues, sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, well, and to your point with the inning limit, DeGrom will be limited. Rocker, Malley only made 3 starts last year, so you're going to need Dane Dunning, and you're going to need maybe Cody Bradford. But then at the same time, that's your starting depth, so it's tough to juggle.
It is.
The amazing thing was, Boo, in 23, what Dane Dunning did, right? He ended up starting in the bullpen because of the depth that starting pitcher then did great there. But then when DeGrom got hurt, they needed him as a starter, and he came back and he did great there.
He was nails. I mean, he was one of the stories early in the season in 2023. And the other guy in 2023 that now that we're just talking about, I know it's not talking about the bullpen, was the kid that filled in for Seager at shortstop. They were splitting between Josh Smith and Zeke was in there, and then all of a sudden Zeke takes over and has a month playing like an all-star. But Dane Dunning, I think that year was really the guy that kind of set the tone, stepped up big time when they really needed it.
Yeah, he was the pitcher of the year for the organization in 2023. And speaking of Dane Dunning, today's his 30th birthday.
30th birthday.
Happy birthday to Dane Dunning. And I think, you would agree, Boo, because of the success he's shown in that role from the bullpen, out of all these starters, I think you still kind of list him as a potential starter for the Rangers, but he's a likely candidate,
I think,
to go to that pen.
I think so too, but I think going into the season with his durability, if he's healthy, I see him as a starter. That's a guy that I can go 5-6 innings for you. He's usually pretty efficient. He doesn't throw that many pitches per inning. He's a guy that can, like I said, get you 6. 5 for sure, and that's going to be important now. I mean, starting pitching next year, if you're only getting 2 or 3 or 4 innings out of your starter early in the year, that bullpen turns into a mess when you get into May and June.
All right, another birthday today, and again, this guy has been a part of the Rangers bullpen, isn't currently, and we haven't heard anything about him actually, Jose Leclerc.
Clerky.
31 today. Now
you've known him a long time.
Yeah, you were with him in 16, right? When he was a rookie.
With him in the minors too.
In the minors too?
Yeah, great kid. I mean, happy for him. He's turned himself into a guy that you can count on. I mean, he's had ups and downs. When I say count on, there's people going, wait a minute. There were times we couldn't really count on him, but I mean, he's been a guy that's mostly healthy, goes out there, and I'm just happy for him. He's had a great career.
Well, and he's like a leader too. You know, you would see him go out and run early and bring some guys with him. You know, just he's not a loud guy.
Very quiet.
You know, very quiet. He's learned our language, which is fantastic. I very much admire that. He's a family guy, but you know, when he's on, it's really good. And we saw it in the playoffs in 23. So
Right.
I wouldn't rule that one out. You know, I don't think he'd get what he made last year, which is 6 or 6.5 from the Rangers, but you know, he's got a house here.
Yeah.
You know, it's the only organization he's ever known.
You know, I think you go back to 23. I mean, what worked for him the best then was the fastball. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had great success with the Slambio, they called it, that changeup. And I think hitters adjusted to him. And, and it was hard for Jose to adjust back because he did not like getting hit, especially getting his fastball hit. When he came back in 23, you started seeing him use that fastball. And if you can only have to use him for an inning, maybe an inning plus, I mean, that fastball still gets mid-90s, 95, 96. And if he can locate it, that's when he had his best success. I love seeing that 2 years ago, him going to that fastball. It's important for him.
In 16, when you were, you know, still on the coaching staff with Banny's crew, and he was a rookie, what was his role? I can't remember exactly how he came up.
Well, I think he started as a bridge guy, maybe the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, and he worked himself into that back end because no one was able to hit that changeup, and no one.
So he had that Slambio.
I remember a game in Anaheim. You might too. I think it was the first time he'd ever faced Mike Trout. He struck him out on 3 pitches.
Yeah,
and Trout had no chance. It was that Slambio, and Trout looked like
Lost.
I would have.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it was incredible.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he's done all the roles. I think he's capable of doing all the roles, even in today's game. Maybe the closer, you know, I think he has the mentality and the confidence to do that. But he can fill in, and he can give you multiple innings if he has to.
Yeah, he struck out 89 guys this year.
Yeah,
the Rangers, you know, that Daniel Roberts or David, how do we call him Daniel? Is that
David.
that little Daniel Robertson?
Padres. Yeah, I remember him.
David struck out 99, and Yates struck out around 90. I mean, a lot of strikeouts in that bullpen that you're missing out on. I mean,
yes,
do the math. That's almost 300. I mean, that's 270 something. So I wouldn't close the doors on that one. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're piecing together a bullpen, and it would be nice because we get lots of questions, Boo, in the chat where they say, right now, who would be the closer for the Rangers? And right now, they don't have one.
Yeah, I'm shrugging my shoulders.
Yeah,
too.
They don't have one. I mean, you know, Mark Church, right, who's never done it, never thrown, or he got a few pitches at the major league level.
Yeah, I think he's got an inning.
He's got an inning,
right?
He's you know, and his stuff plays. But yeah, I don't know.
So you bring up a guy like Mark Church, and I know this sounds crazy, but you go through spring training, and there's going to be 1 or 2 guys, I guarantee it, in spring training that come out there and they just light up the radar gun. They punch everybody out, and you got the high hopes of this person stepping in and doing, you know, whatever it is, being a bridge guy, a long guy, a closer. There will be 1 or 2 of them that Ranger fans have not probably heard of, you know, young kids. So someone will make the team out of spring training as a bullpen guy, not necessarily a closer to answer that question, but someone will step into that role.
Yeah, there've been a lot of them over the years. You know, the first one I remember is a guy named Mason Tobin.
Oh, I remember that name.
Came out of nowhere, made the team.
Yeah,
Robbie Ross. I mean, the Rangers at least drafted him, but he came out of nowhere, made it. I remember we were in Myrtle Beach when Pedro Strop made his first major league roster, and I had to fly out of Charleston, and so it was 3 or 4 in the morning. I had to get my flight. And as I'm going down, Pedro and some of the boys are getting on the elevator because they'd been out celebrating.
Oh, so. Yeah,
funny.
But you're right. There's one every year.
I think of Matt Bush one year in the spring training. You see him come in, and you just saw him throw the first inning, and you're like, that works in the big leagues. That stuff will play in the big leagues. Keone Kela was another one that in spring training.
I forgot about Keone.
You saw that. A fastball, that curveball, and I ran into him when I was rehabbing my hip.
Oh, really?
I ran into him at TMI, and he looks like he could play linebacker right now. He is big. He's strong. I think he went down to Mexico. He still wants to pitch. But it's guys like that just kind of come out of the woodwork and it'll surprise you.
Yeah, and that kid had a mean streak in him.
Holy
Oh
cow.
my gosh!
Yeah, he had a mean streak in him.
He
Or a screw loose.
Well, one of the maybe both. Yeah, maybe both.
great guy though.
Yeah,
great guy.
Yeah, he did. He had a heart of gold too.
Yeah,
So it was a strange.
Love him.
Man, yeah, that was a complicated person.
Love him, but I
Peel
want him-
back the layers of that onion.
I want him on my team though.
Yep. Okay.
Like
I like
Jeff was
that.
saying.
Well, like he took on the whole Reds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He
did.
fought in the whole Reds when he was at the Pirates.
Yeah, he did. So lots more coming up as we continue to chat with Boo and talk to you about what's happening with this Rangers team. They also sort of began to set their roster for the they set the roster for the spring training. So we'll get to that and so much more next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. But first, let's talk about the greatness of, I'm looking right now, HelloFresh.
Oh, HelloFresh.
Jeff and I, have you tried HelloFresh? Boo?
I've not.
Okay, this is unbelievable. My daughter had been, kind of telling me about it, and we were like, oh, we'll try it, whatever. Well, now HelloFresh is a sponsor, and so Jeff and I made an effort and a point to try it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
The meal comes in a vacuum-packed dry ice deal and the whole thing, and you just open it up, and everything you need is in there, and the food that you make is great and easy. Jeff and I have both been able to make the meal ourselves. So you take a little pressure off the wife. It's a good thing. Really good. We encourage you to avail yourself to HelloFresh. Get yourself to HelloFresh.com and use the code FreeRangers, and you will have the opportunity to get 10 free meals. It'll come over 7 boxes. It's for first orders only, but that's 10 free meals. It's a fantastic deal at HelloFresh.com.
Also a fantastic deal, Empire Today, and what they're doing for viewers of this show. $350 off if you go to EmpireToday.com/DLLS. Steve knows about Empire Today. He's been in this area a long time. The experts, the leaders in flooring, carpets or hardwoods, probably linoleum if people still do that. They could probably figure out a way to get it done. But the key is they're the experts. You're not going to a big box store and talking to a guy that just sold a bunch of plungers to somebody. You're talking carpets to carpet people. So and you can do it all from your house. You have an app. You can just hold it up and boom, there. Take a picture of your room, and that's what the floors are going to look like. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DLLS for details.
Thank you, Empire Today. We appreciate you. And we appreciate all of you hanging out with us and Steve Buechele today. Boo, people, how many times have I sat on that set with you out at the ballpark, and people come up to us and go, how's Shane?
Yeah.
So, because I know everybody wants to know, how's Shane? And it's cool. I know it's like in some ways, after one, after the other, it becomes a little bit of a beatdown. But it's so neat that people are that interested in following his career.
Yeah, no doubt. And especially now with UT in the playoffs on Saturday, SMU going tomorrow.
Yeah.
I feel like Shane kind of got that program at SMU kickstarted again with Sonny Dykes. But Shane's doing great. He's on season-ending IR up in Buffalo. He's feeling great. He had a compression fracture first preseason football game. Nancy and I went up there to watch him, and then he came in like the third play. He ended up playing the rest of the game with it too. So he was lucky that nothing worse happened. But he's doing great, and he's making his way, as a backup. And he's been behind two good ones, Mahomes and Josh Allen.
You can't ask for much better.
Can't ask for anything else. So hopefully we're looking at a Super Bowl run. The Bills they're playing really good right now.
Yeah, they're really good.
What we're way off topic now, but I've done a lot with TCU. What was his relationship with Sonny like? Because I love Sonny.
Yeah, so do I. I think Sonny was great. Shane loves him. They keep in touch.
Mm-hmm.
Shane he'll throw over there during the off season a little bit. He goes to SMU as well. He doesn't want to leave the ponies out.
Right.
But TCU is close to his home, mileage wise, so it's convenient for him to go there. But he gets along great with them, and Shane's wife and Sonny's wife are good friends. So it's a nice relationship.
Yeah, Sonny's great.
Yeah, really Sonny is great, and Shane, it's amazing to have that sort of talent in the family, isn't it, Boo? That he had a baseball playing father, and that he channeled it towards a different sport and just made such, I mean, to make a career out of playing sports, you know what that is. It's fantastic.
It's not the norm, right? It's hard to do, and I give him all the credit in the world. He's worked hard. No one works harder than him, and I just keep telling him to stay patient, stay with it. As long as you're healthy, by the time you see quarterbacks go down in the NFL every single week, I said, just be patient. Your time will come. You'll get your chance. And he's got a great attitude. He works hard, so things will work out for him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Yep. All right, so another move that the Rangers made yesterday will be now explained by Jeff.
Well, you'd kind of seen them trickle out, but it's 9 non-roster invitees to spring training on minor league contracts. Some of the notable ones, Tucker Barnhart.
Yeah,
and we talked about him yesterday, I think, or maybe it was the weekly show. This guy won 2 Gold Gloves at catcher. I mean, he's a player.
Yeah.
And then Hauser, former Brewer like Hoby Milner, spent last season with the Mets. He's at like a 10-game winner at one point in his career with a 3 ERA that season for the Brewers. So honestly, he's probably a real strong candidate to make the team on a non-roster deal because he can work multiple innings. Probably not an optionable guy at this point, but that's okay.
Yeah,
if he's good and you feel confident that he can piggyback off of somebody, I think he's got a real shot. I don't think doesn't have the stuff that like Jose Urena has, but he's a veteran and knows how to pitch. So Alan Trejo's another interesting guy, an infielder from the Rockies. Came up with the Rockies, was a prospect, never really panned out. They DFA'd him last year. He ended up latching on with the Dodgers and played with their AAA team the rest of the season. So guys you've heard of and guys who you will hear of because of these guys, if they don't make the opening day roster, will be at AAA and probably will end up in the big leagues at some point if they pitch well.
And why do these guys sign this early, Boo? I mean, because they know they're going to get a chance to go to big league spring training?
I think so. I mean, and I think the Rangers now an organization. I don't want to say they're a destination organization, but it's an organization that's won or that's winning, and they're going in the right direction. And they want a chance to be part of it. But all those names that Jeff mentioned in spring training, these are guys that are willing to get cut. They're willing to take the chance to go back to AAA and get another chance at the big leagues. I think that's really important. They've all had big league experience. Now, somebody like Tucker Barnhart, I don't know, what's in the back of his mind. I read that press release yesterday, I believe, and it said 2-time Gold Glover. I'm like, I did not know that. I had no idea that he was a 2-time Gold Glover. I mean, that's depth in the catching position that you absolutely have to have. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make the team if they carry 3 coming out of spring training. But all those names, you may see them get cut or get sent down or DFA'd or whatever, but you'll hear those names during the big league season.
Well, and another thing, scouts watch spring games too.
Yes.
And as late in camp as team needs develop, these guys will have outs. I'm sure Barnhart's going to have an out in his deal. And he might get another chance with another club. So I mean, they're trying to make a Rangers roster, yes, but they're also, they're
auditioning.
They're trying to make 29
showcase.
other rosters too.
Showcase. And they'll get all those guys will get a lot of playing time too.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And what did you think about the Rangers acquisition of Kyle Higashioka?
Yeah.
From
can we call him Higgy?
Higgy. I like Higgy.
That makes it easy.
Yeah, boy, that's Boch's way too. He will drop somebody's name on you. Yeah.
And I remember him. I want to say with the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
Watching him and just a solid guy behind the plate, kind of just goes about his business, handles the staff really well, can swing the bat a little bit. Had a good year with San Diego with the bat, but certainly a guy I think that fits that role that. If forced into, can play more than 40 games. Yeah. If you need him to, depending on what Jonah Heim does. But I think that was a big sign. That's a veteran guy, older too, 35, which I didn't realize. That he's a guy that's been around, handles staffs well, be tremendous leadership. Probably be really good for Jonah Heim to have somebody like that around all the time.
For sure. And Bobby Wilson said that. We had him on our weekly podcast, and he said this is a blessing for Jonah Heim.
Yeah.
they're going to probably split playing time evenly, at least until maybe one guy gets hot, and you got to have him in there more often. But Bobby Wilson's like he pointed out that at the end of 23, when Jonah had Mitch Garver and Austin Hedges on the roster, Jonah took off because he had these guys supporting him and he didn't have to figure it out for himself. So I think that's Bobby knows what he's talking about when it comes to catching. So it is a good sign.
Yep, it's a great sign, and it's a good signing. And the thing that when you mentioned, Boo, the Rangers being a destination, I believe that Chris Young believes that they either are or they're right on the verge of becoming, and that is his goal, right, is to make this place a destination. And when you add up all the things that they have, the best stadium still, the newest stadium still, right, including not just for the fans, but all the amenities for the players, right? And then you add the fact that over the course of 2 off seasons, they spent $750 million acquiring players. It sends a message to the others in Major League Baseball, doesn't it?
Without a doubt. And they have a World Series championship, a couple of years ago. And that's something that you don't want to just have that happen once every 20 years. I think Chris Young wants this to be an organization where winning is sustainable from year to year to year. And I think the competitiveness that Chris Young has, Ray Davis has the will to win. It's a great place to play now. You're not playing in the 110-degree heat in the evening. Fans aren't, sweating or showing up in the 5th inning. It's a great place. It's a great area to live, great place to play. So this I don't think it's going to be. I think it has become one of the destination organizations.
That's great. I mean, when you think about that, because it was always, especially for pitchers, it was always like, no pitcher's going to go to Texas. And then we heard after they retired and stuff, guys say, oh, yeah, I wasn't going to go pitch in Texas.
No, I think before, for sure, an agent will come to you and say, hey, Texas is Texas, Atlanta, Houston, whatever. They're interested in, I'm not in Texas. No, I have no interest to go there. Now, if Texas's name comes up, the eyes perk up a little bit and the ears they want to listen and hear what they have to offer.
Yeah, like Roy Halladay in 2009.
Yes.
I went to high school with Roy. He was 2 years younger than me. They didn't have me in recruiting him, but
they should have.
He wouldn't waive his no trade clause because of the heat, and it's just a fact. I mean, they've tried to get Randy Johnson in the past, and he turned him down. So, yeah, it was a deal, and the roof's the best thing ever.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. What do you remember about the heat? I mean, you were a young guy, but,
So go back to the original stadium when I first came up. I just remember looking up. Games started at 7:35 back then.
Okay.
And we played the longest games ever. I mean, you would look up at that scoreboard, it would say 10:05, 99 degrees. Just going. And it was hot. And then what is now Choctaw across the street, just that evening time, right as that sun was going down around 5, 6, right around BP. You get done throwing around the BP and come off the field, and you just soaking wet. Once the sun went down, it was okay, as long as you had a little bit of a breeze. But it's hot. It's hot. When you played a day game there and you saw the opposing pitcher going, I remember, was it CC Sabathia? He didn't even warm up in the bullpen. They had him warm up in the cage. And when he came out,
is that right?
Yeah, he came out and threw a game. And I mean, after 10 pitches, his jersey color was a complete different color. So there was definitely. We always answered the question, "How's the heat affect you?" And when you say, "Oh, that has no effect on us," as everybody has to deal with it. The heat certainly played a factor.
Yeah. Well, it was an advantage for you guys,
right?
For that reason, like you talked about, the guys didn't know how to handle it.
I'll never forget seeing, and this is when you were coaching. You might have been hitting them the little fungos, but seeing Rugi when he was working on his defensive skills, and he was down on his knees during early BP, 3:00 in the afternoon or whatever it was, on his knees, and I think you were hitting him fungos just to have him work on his quickness and his agility and all that. And I was like, and it was like one of those years when we had stretch of 100-degree days. Nobody wanted to be outside.
Right.
And I was just like, look at that. I mean,
but that's a dedication those players have. As a coach, it's easy, right? You don't have to play the game. But those guys will go out for early work, like you said, before batting practice, get on that infield, get their work in. And I think a lot of those years, too, the manager, I remember Banny, we would hit indoors several times during the week just to get off, get out of that heat. But as far as early work, that was something that was done every single day out in that heat.
Amazing. Truly amazing. It's fun chatting with you, Boo. We got more to talk about. In fact, next, we're going to talk about the position that Boo played for the Texas Rangers, because it's had some awfully good players that have manned the hot corner, including this guy. So we'll talk about third base, and we'll get to our batting cleanup segment a little later, too. But first, we got to take this break on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Guys, not going to lie, we are using our Rugged Road cooler right now. These beers are ice cold. I think they had some leftovers from the Christmas party. That was Tuesday.
Yeah,
and those things are still ice cold.
If anybody wants one, we've got these too. The ranch water, the hard seltzer. If anybody, Profit? Anybody? No, Profit.
Well, if you don't know what Rugged Road is dedicated to creating these innovative and durable coolers and outdoor gear for adventurers. These things are light, durable. They float. They're perfect for your camping trip. They're perfect for taking to the Little League fields and sitting through a dang youth tournament to watch your son. Keeps everything cold. Has all kinds of compartments and stuff. They're pretty fantastic. We sold Todd Jones on one. He went and bought one as he was watching our show last week. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use the code DLLS for 10% off.
Yep, it's a great idea. It's a great product, as is Saturday Neon. Boo was just talking about the big weekend. It's a huge weekend in Texas college football, as you have the Longhorns and the Mustangs both a part of this brand new college football playoff. And if you want to take your fandom to the next level, you got to go see our friends at Saturday Neon. They make these neon signs. They are affiliated with 50 different colleges, and they'll grow and grow. They'll get more and more. But these are LED neon signs. And, Boo, we've talked about it. You're sitting there behind. If we had a neon sign right here, we'd probably have to drink beer every day.
That's right.
Right when there's neon around, I think two things, beer and peanuts,
I agree.
Yeah, I love neon.
Beer for sure.
Beer for sure. That's a given. There's a lot of things that make us think of beer. Saturday Neon, go to their website, use the code DLLS, and get 10% off of one of those really cool neon signs. All right, third base, the hot corner, the spot where you played. Did you play third base all the way growing up, or were you, like everybody else who's great, a shortstop?
Shortstop starting off, and then in college, third base my freshman year, then moved over to second base. And then when I signed with the Rangers, my first year I was playing second base, and then every year, that was in 82, 83 I started off as a third baseman, moved back to second base during the season. 84 the same way. 85 actually, and it was my first year really playing third base, but the year I got called up. So I was going back and forth, but always usually between third and second.
Which did you like better?
Second.
Did you? Yeah. Did you? Yeah.
That's the easiest position on the infield. Yeah. I mean, Mac might disagree with me, but playing the 1 year, I think Julio Franco missed a good chunk of time, and I filled in there, and it was I just absolutely loved it. And when I had a chance, or I called it a day off. When Larry Parrish might play third, I would play second. It was like having the day off. I loved it.
That's great.
Yeah.
And
let's get Marcus Simeon on the phone.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what makes third base so hard in that comparison?
Yeah, in my eyes, in my mind, it's what you see. When you're playing short or second, you just see home plate, you see the pitcher, the hitter, the catcher, you see everything a lot clearer than you do at third base. Third base, you're not afforded the opportunity to slip up. You've got to be you got to have both feet down by the time that hitter takes that swing. So you're ready to go. The throw's a heck of a lot longer than second base. That was what I loved the most. The throw from second base for me was a nice break. But for me, it was the visual that I had as an infielder from second base. It was just awesome, right? Like I said, I could see everything. From third base, you're cut off from a lot of it. You gotta be locked in.
Did you follow Buddy Bell in the Rangers organization at third?
Yes.
You basically replaced Buddy.
Right.
Wow. So that's big shoes to fill.
He got traded in '85.
Okay.
Buddy did.
Yeah,
right. And then I came up. He got traded to Cincinnati, and I came up after the Buddy trade.
Yeah. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, especially around here. Buddy was beloved here, and what a great guy, too. I could tell some great stories about Buddy in spring training. But, everybody would ask, how are you going to fill Buddy Bell's shoes? I said, I'm not. I can't. I'm not, and I can't. He's a special player. I'm going to be me, and hopefully being me is good enough.
Yeah, I mean, he won 6 Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
I mean, we were saying the other day, he's a pretty underrated guy.
Yeah, I think so too.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was a really good third baseman, obviously. But you were too. And when I got here in 1990, the chants of boo were all over the ballpark.
Thanks to Chuck Morgan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And they weren't saying boo; they were saying boo. But there you were. You felt it. Yes, I mean you felt
no doubt.
the love
for sure.
Yeah.
Still do. I mean, there's times Nancy and I'll be going down the aisle at the grocery store and the boo. So it's still nice. I'm lucky to get booed. I loved it when Chuck Morgan got that going, and when I made a play, I got booed. When I got a hit, I got booed. So it was great, and the fans loved it. And nobody loved it more than me. I thought it was tremendous.
There was a young woman who interned with the Rangers in their, team in the game presentation area a few years ago, and she's the daughter of a good friend of mine who's a newscaster in Houston, and so she didn't really know much about the Rangers or anything. They grew up in the Houston area, and so anyway, but she got this internship with the Rangers. Oh, that's great, Major League Baseball. She comes up here on opening day. She had done her duty, helping with getting the game presentation on. Then she came to our set, since I'd known her since she was a kid, and watched our show. And she comes up to me afterwards and she goes, "Man, that's a great show, but the fans, they boo you all the time." And I go, I got a guy on the set named Steve Buechele. Oh, she says, they were booing every chance they got.
I know. It's funny. I got that probably more than anything else.
Yeah.
Someone would say, I didn't understand why they were booing you from the start, and then I finally got it. I hear that all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so Rangers have had some great third basemen, and they hope that Josh Young is healthy and is a great third baseman. Who in baseball history are your top guys, or who did you admire
at third?
At third, yeah.
So growing up, Brooks Robinson, just
sure.
because the TV Saturdays was This Week in Baseball, right? And the Saturday game of the week, and got to see Brooks and the highlights that he made. And then when I finally got to meet him, I just loved the man. Just was a tremendous guy. George Brett was another one that played against him for many years, but just the way he treated me my rookie year. When we played against him, and he didn't need to do this, out there during batting practice, he came over and I was struggling and he knew it, but he came over and said, "Hey, hang in there. You're going to be just fine. You're playing, just keep playing good defense as long as you can catch the ball and throw."
This is 85.
It's a pretty big year for the Royals.
This is a big year for the Royals.
And it was just neat, right? That he took the time to come over and say, "Hey, hang in there." And so I admired him even before I made it to the big leagues, because the guy could flat out hit.
Mm-hmm.
So
was he flirting with 485?
No, that was 80?
80 earlier.
Yeah. Another good year for the Royals.
Yeah. So those two for sure stick out in my mind as guys that I really enjoyed watching and looked up to.
And then you saw Beltre a lot, obviously.
Maybe my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Adrian. And God, it's weird to think he's a past player, right? I still think of Adrian as the guy that could go out there and play, and now he's in the Hall of Fame, but the best, man. He and you saw us down in spring training, what we would go through every day with the fungo and him taking grounders. You could not get him off the field. It was crazy. And I would be told, hey, today you need to cut him back or tell him he's not taking grounds today. And there was just no way. I mean, he was, you tell him. And he was just going to be out. And it was always after I threw the round of BP to his group, then the next group he would take the grounders. And I was gassed after throwing the BP and then dragging that bag of balls out. He took every ball out of that bag every single day in spring training. And just the way he played the game, how he prepared himself, the leadership, the guy that he is.
The fun.
The best.
Right?
The best.
Well, and you weren't just hitting them right to him. You hit a variety of different
he
grounders.
would challenge you like you can't hit one by me, right? And so it became a competition every single day. I was more tired after hitting fungal than throwing BP. He was amazing.
He was amazing on pop-ups. And that might sound silly.
Because they're spinning.
But just the best play I ever saw him make was, I've said this a lot, was in Atlanta his first year, and Eric Hinsky hit a ball, and it really wasn't a true pop-up. It was a little bit of a flare. It was between a flare and a pop-up, and he ran down the line at Turner Field. He was in medium left field when he caught it.
Yeah,
it's just
like back to home plate.
Back to home plate, caught it. I just still can't believe the play. And there was spring training. The sky there is so bad. And there was a pop-up drill. I don't know if it was on a machine because I don't know, but he could not find it. And then right before it hit the ground, he went to his knees and caught it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was not conventional.
Right.
In anything he did. Like if I was teaching my kid, the fundamentals of infield work, I would say, see what Adrian's doing right there?
Don't do that.
Don't do that. You'll be able to someday when you become really good. But that's really not how I want you to do it right now. He just had a unique way of playing third base, catching ball. I'll tell you what, the most impressive part about it, he didn't wear a cup.
Right.
I know.
Right? And you're playing third base in the big leagues and you're not wearing a cup. I'm telling you, that takes balls.
Yeah,
seriously.
it does.
Well, it's crazy.
And you're lucky you still have him.
But
crazy.
He got hit in Seattle
Yes,
and
he
still
did.
didn't wear a cup.
No,
afterwards.
No, and he was
wear one.
down for a minute.
He had 3 weeks on the IL.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
The best ever.
Yeah, yeah. And like you say, because you were on the staff, when he was around, the guy he was, and he knew. I mean, he was making, $96 million contract was a huge contract in those days, right? And he took care of guys on that team.
Big time.
Heck, he even took care of us occasionally. I remember we went to I think it was what was the fight between the UFC guy and the box and Floyd
Mayweather and
Mayweather.
Colin McGregor.
Yeah,
maybe?
that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, he rented up the whole. We were in San Francisco. He rented the whole upstairs. Invited everybody up there. Come up. We're going to watch the fight. I mean, he took care of guys.
He took it, and you know what? He listened too, right? He wasn't beyond taking coaching, whether it was from Tony Beasley or myself. If we saw something, a lot of coaches would be afraid to approach somebody like Adrian and say, "Hey, I'm seeing this. You might want to, do this." He loved that. He loved to be challenged, and he listened. He was just a remarkable player, a different style, and like you said, Raz, the fun that guy had every day when he came to the ballpark was just beyond any other.
Did you ever see the place in Pasadena? I know sometimes parts of the team would go over with him to his home.
I never did.
God. Apparently, it's got like a 3-hole golf course and a racetrack, and I don't know what all.
Yeah. Well, now his AJ is now in college. He's going to San Diego.
Yeah.
And so there was talk at the Hall of Fame deal that they might move a little bit further to the south.
Oh, okay.
And be closer to San Diego.
Sure.
Probably
get down in Orange County somewhere.
From Pasadena to Anaheim, it probably takes as long as it would take from Anaheim to San Diego.
Sure.
Hey, and remember the name AJ Beltry too.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good little player.
He's developed. I mean, he's a man now.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
Yeah, and we've watched him. I mean, he was a little guy.
The father-son relationship they had, that was special.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Adrian didn't take it easy on him throwing BP.
No, or grounders or anything. Yeah.
No, he'd hit, when they're out working out in the outfield, he'd hit balls over the kid's head and say, "Go get it."
And when he threw him BP, he told him, "Hey, if you can reach it with your bat, swing at it. Like you're not taking anything. I'm throwing it." And I mean, Adrian too would hit the low ball, the high ball. He would throw that to AJ. whether it was up here, down wave, AJ swinging at everything. It was amazing.
It's going to be Vlad Guerrero before he finishes.
The older you get more discipline.
Sure.
Right? At a young age, you just let them go. It was awesome.
That's
just
awesome. Hit it.
It was great.
Just hit. See ball, hit ball.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we've got Steve Buechele here. We've got our batting cleanup segment coming as we run through several things that will make us chuckle. We might even get to a game coming up next. It's the DLLS Rangers Podcast. You got merch on today, Jeff?
I do underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's a rare day for me not wearing merch. But we always we got this great. Yeah, you got some merch. Our buddy, the skipper, I like to call him, Ben, gave you a DLLS shirt. So I'm glad you'll proudly sport that when you're out walking around and doing yard work and whatever else. We appreciate it. And anyway, it's great stuff. It's high quality. It's not expensive. And there's so many cool varieties. I mean, I've got a couple new ones that I just got. I wore one yesterday. I'll have break another one or two out next week. Really fun designs, and they're awesome. They wash well. They don't shrink. They don't fade. So go to store.allcitynetwork.com and get yourself some of this merchandise. We've got hats coming finally in 2025. I know Jeff will never again be wearing anything. No more Adidas hats after that. It's going to be all DLLS hats.
We got to get the whole variety, and I will. Because the office Christmas party the other night, I did not wear a hat.
Yeah,
and that was the first time that anybody here had seen me.
I was about to say, I damn near didn't recognize you. So
it's true.
Yeah, and then also get a free shirt by becoming a diehard. One you can you're like, I don't know if I really want a free shirt. Ever buy one of these shirts? Get one for free if you become a diehard, and then you'll know that we're not just saying this. These are really great shirts, and if you'll get so much more than a free shirt.
Yeah.
Jeff wrote again today. He's written yesterday. Look, when stuff happens with or is about to happen with the Rangers, Jeff's writing about it. And look, it's how this game, it's behind a paywall, as is everything that Evan Grant writes over there at the Morning News.
We brought this up yesterday, and some more people are complaining about it. Saying, why isn't this story free? It's like, why the company you work for? Why do you guys charge a service?
Why doesn't McDonald's give me? Why don't McDonald's give me a free hamburger?
I mean, come on, people. Anyway, become a diehard, and we won't make fun of you.
Yeah, that's right. See there, easy solution. All right, let's get to this batting cleanup segment. Boo, we kind of run through a number of things that are just happening around baseball, and we comment on them, including the fact that I wanted to get to this yesterday, Jeff. It made me chuckle. But Nolan Arenado, of course, is out there now. The Cardinals have basically been trying to trade him all offseason. They're busting it down to the studs. He blocked a trade. He's got a no-trade clause. He blocked a trade to the Astros. He said, I'm not going to Houston. Now, so then it begs the question in your mind, they don't play outside, so you'd know why if it was an outside stadium. Is it still because of the cheating thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, could you imagine Arenado in that stadium with left field, that porch?
Well, they just, right when our show started, they've agreed with Christian Walker. The first baseman, so 3-60 on that. So maybe, if Arenado sees that, maybe he changes his mind. I don't know, but if you see an exodus of talent, they traded Kyle Tucker, great player. It looks like they may not re-sign Bregman. They have to make a decision on Framber Valdez at some point this year. So which way are they going now? When they sign Walker, because he declined the qualifying offer, they lose 2 draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a team that has a crappy farm system. And so, is Arenado looking at things as a whole? Is he looking at the longevity? He doesn't have, he's got 3 years left on his deal, but he wants him to be 3 good years.
Yeah, and he's a SoCal guy. Is he looking on that West Coast somewhere, like the blue and white?
Yeah.
Just add another couple.
Where everybody wants to play.
Everybody wants to go right now. Yeah. He's from out there.
But I think the Dodgers and the Angels are 2 of the 6 teams on his that he'd be willing to go to.
Right. So I'm thinking that may be part of it.
Yeah. And so that was that's interesting though that deal got done. We had that on the list to talk about today, but the Christian Walker thing, it's big.
Yeah, it is. First base, that Abreu deal was good for a year, mediocre for a year, and then just a disaster last year.
Really bad.
Yeah.
But Walker's going to be a defensive upgrade. But you know who had a better WAR last season than Christian Walker?
Nathaniel Lowe.
Nathaniel Lowe.
Yeah.
2.7 to 2.6, but
not much better, but better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, Christian Walker is going to be, I think, 34 to open the season. So I mean, it's, you know, he's not a young guy. Maybe that's why he only got 3 years.
Yeah.
But
Christian Walker's WAR would have been lower if they didn't play the Rangers too. By the way, he killed them last year, right?
Yeah,
he wore them out.
But they got him pretty good in the World Series.
Yeah.
He didn't do a lot against them, but to your point, he had a good little stretch there against the Rangers this year.
Yeah. All right, another thing we want to talk about today is the fact that the A's have also signed. I think this was yesterday. They signed Urshela.
Yeah,
and that to me is like the A's signed anybody, and this is the second person they've signed this offseason.
Yeah. I mean,
they have a different mindset apparently now that they've moved out of Oakland.
Well, I mean, they're that much closer to Las Vegas, and you know,
and
they're gonna make money.
Yeah,
at some point.
I don't know. They sign these guys, and immediately I'm thinking trade deadline.
Are you?
Yeah, I mean that's
Sure.
how I look at a lot of what's with Oakland signing any type of name. If they're playing good, they become a trade deadline name.
Yeah, and you know, Severino, 3-69 or 67.
67, I think. Yeah.
Well, you know, Evaldi was 3-75 and Kikuchi was 3-63. So if that's where the market is, and if it's going to be higher next year, then maybe you're right at the trade deadline. If they're 1,000 games out, but he's doing well, and they can get something in return and get salary relief, then
you're right. But Oakland played good last year.
They
At
did.
the end of the second half.
Amazing.
I mean, could be a surprise team in the West too.
Yeah.
So maybe part of it is, hey, if we get one or two pieces, we could be a lot better. They're young and talented.
That's the amazing thing. And is John Fisher, you know, kind of thumbing his nose, if you will, at Oakland now. Like, you know, we didn't do this because you wouldn't play nice, right?
Yeah.
Now, hell, we're only in Sacramento. It's not like we're in Las Vegas yet. And they're going to be in Sacramento for what, 3 years?
3 years.
3 more years.
Yeah. Well, you know, to your point, Lawrence Butler's a nice player. Their right fielder is a good young player.
Yeah.
Does a lot. Brent Rooker is a good power hitter. The catcher, Shea Langeliers, who destroys the Rangers from Keller.
Yep.
And then they have Tyler Soderstrom, who's also a catcher, but he's going to play a lot of first base. So, I mean, they've got some good young players for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe they're loading up. It'll be interesting to see it make the West even more difficult. The Astros, obviously, you know, they're a force to be reckoned with. They're still going to be. The Rangers will be. And we know Wash will get those guys playing better in Anaheim than they did last year.
Yeah, for
Seattle
sure.
still won't hit, but they'll still pitch. So
yeah, they got They got probably the best rotation in baseball. So pretty amazing. All right, let's play this game. For each team, the last guy to win 20 games and the year that he did it. It's amazing how, like, used to, of course, you know, and I don't want to be a jerk, but I'm from Detroit, so, you know, we measure guys by 30-game winners, you know, because Denny McClain back in 68 won 30, so the rest of you guys just do 20-game winners. But no, really, I mean, 20 games, it used to be, when we were growing up, like, how many guys would win 20 this year? You know, a couple, 3 guys would win 20 in any given year. Nobody wins 20 games anymore.
No, and the crazy thing is how many times you see a guy with 10 wins at the start of June.
Yeah.
Or 9-1. And you're like, he gets to 14 or 15. It's crazy.
Yeah. So,
by the way, I'm going to just tell everybody, I'm horrible at this kind of stuff. So,
okay.
Jeff, let's go.
All right.
I'm leaning on you.
Jeff's an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So we
TR would be great.
TR be
yeah,
great.
he'd be good. We did one before the show, and it was Rangers, and it was I think you both got Helling.
Yeah.
Rick Helling.
You both got Helling.
For your
and it was
Stanford connection.
1998. Stanford guy?
Yeah.
1998. All right, so there's one team that has never had a 20-game winner.
Well, I'll go with the Rockies.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's
but I think Ubaldo Jimenez though won 19 one year.
Oh, did he really?
I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the longest duration between 20-game winners is now and 1978.
78.
So this guy and this team won 120 in 1978, and I'll give you a hint. The guy is a former Ranger.
1978.
Yeah.
How about
Nolan didn't win 20.
I'm going to go, this may be wrong. Probably is wrong. I'm going to go Mariners and Gaylord Perry.
Very close. Padres.
And
Gaylord Perry.
I mean, and of course, Gaylord,
Jeff,
hell, he
that's
might have pitched
impressive.
for both teams in that year. But
Wow.
that goes to Padres and Gaylord Perry. And then, like, another one that goes way back. This is an East Coast team that hasn't won one since 86. And I'm telling you, in the 70s, when I was growing up, this team was known for pitching.
Orioles?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mike Boddicker in
Mike Boddicker.
86 is the last player
Well,
pitcher.
they one of their teams, what was it, 69 or 72, they had the 420 game winners
Right.
in the
Yeah.
rotation.
Palmer.
Four in the
Cuellar.
rotation.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
We used to wonder how many guys would win 20 this year, not if they would.
So
There's
I got a quick Mike Boddicker story.
Oh,
every,
good.
every time I
Good.
hear that name, and it's not a story about him. It's kind of, he was with Kansas City at the time, and we were down by a couple runs. We had a man on base in the ninth inning, and I'm at the plate. Boddicker's pitching, and this fly is buzzing around my face.
your face, not
Yes,
his. Oh,
I'm
yours.
in the batter's
Yeah.
box, and I step out of the batter's box and call time, and the umpire didn't give it to me. Strike 3, game over.
Really?
Strike
Oh,
3,
hey.
game over. That's what I remember about Mike
No
Boddicker.
kidding.
Great curveball too, but
Yeah.
that was, I'll
The
never
umpire
forget that.
doesn't give you any
Didn't-
grace
no
for
time,
the fly.
strike 3, the ball game's over.
Bastard. He had dinner reservations.
Yeah,
There's no
no
doubt
doubt.
about that. All right, let's see who else hasn't done it in a while. Okay, this is a good one. Back in did I say Boddicker was 84? It
Yeah,
was
I thought you
84.
said
I think I said
84.
86. The next longest time ago was 86.
86.
And it was might have been, yeah, it was a really good pitching year for this team. Boy, they started out like a house of fire, and I'm trying to think what else I could tell you. Anyway,
American League?
yeah, and they were known as wall bangers. Offensively,
Okay.
Pete Vukovich.
close. No, Teddy Higuera.
Little lefty Teddy.
Teddy Higuera.
Oh, 86, yeah.
86.
Vukovich was 82 or 83. was his-
Yeah, he was older, further back.
He won 20.
Teddy
Teddy
Higuera.
Higuera
Higuera.
won 20 in
I know that.
86. 1989, Jeff, one of the teams you liked,
Oh, I don't know. I like
who had a
lot of teams.
really good year in 85 we were talking about.
Oh, the Royale Saberhagen?
Yeah, Saberhagen. They haven't had a 20-game winner since Saberhagen.
Wow.
All right. Oh, wow. All right. 91. This is
1991.
surprising, actually, that this – well, it's not surprising that this franchise has even won 20, but it is surprising that they've won 20 lately. This is one of the franchises that spends no money.
Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Graybeck.
John Smiley.
Smiling.
I played. Shoot, it was my
That was-
teammate.
All right.
Well, my teammates with them.
All right. So this appears to be – let me make sure of this. The last time we had two 20-game winners from the same team, 1993.
1993? Was that
Expos?
One of them is a former Ranger. And this was pre-Rangers.
Pre-Ranger?
This
Oh,
is
shit.
pre-Rangers, but he is a former Ranger. I think he still lives in the area.
Hmm.
No, he did for a long time after he.
Oh,
retired.
Giants. We're talking Giants?
Yep.
Burkett
Yep.
Oh, wow. There you go.
and
Rick Russell.
no
Bill Swift.
Billy Swift. All right.
Yeah.
University of Maine.
Bill Swift.
85 Olympic team.
Oh yeah. So then
Or
we said
84 Olympic
Ranger.
team.
I mean, again, Rangers.
I got one.
Yeah, darn right you did.
Got one of them.
Rangers going all the way back to '98. I mean, that's a long time. It really is.
It is,
when you
and-
think about that.
Hey,
I mean-
Berkey's on the bowling circuit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Like he's
He's
great.
always,
bowler.
and he,
Yeah,
even
but yeah,
when he
the
was
senior,
playing,
the senior bowling tour. He's
That's yeah.
and he still lives here, right?
Yeah.
I've seen him.
No, I
Yeah.
saw him at the
Yeah.
alumni golf tournament. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. All right, the A's had a guy in 2002.
Zito, Mulder, or Hudson.
Zito. Yeah, it was Zito. But you're right. They might all have. Oh, here's a former Ranger. Got to go all the way back to 2003 for a Mariner.
2003 Mariner played for the Rangers.
I think he was
soft close.
We won't do this whole list, but we got to get a couple more. But hey, we want you to like us and subscribe to us. We're here each and every day. And now we play a little more of our game. He was about 50 or 60 years old when he was with the Mariners, I think. Former Ranger. You played with him, Boo.
Oh, jeez, Boo. Charlie. No, he never.
Charlie never played for Seattle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure you played with him, Boo. I think he was here when you were here. Jamie Moyer.
Oh, my gosh.
God.
Sure.
You played with Moyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then here's another former Ranger. And was he part of the Michael Young trade? I don't know. I can't remember, so I better not say that. He did it for the White Sox in 2003.
2003 White Sox. Jack McDowell.
Not a former Ranger.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Burley, was that?
No, he's not a former Ranger.
No.
Oh, this is a former Ranger, too.
Former Ranger.
See if the Rangers before or after.
Yeah. He was with the Rangers
before. Ethan was right on Jamie Moyer.
Oh, good job, Ethan. Esteban Loaiza.
Oh, my God. He's in jail, right?
Yes, he is. I believe he is. Yeah. All right. So now we'll fast forward.
He is? I know.
So one in 2023.
There was one 20-game winner last year.
Apparently. I didn't think there was, but I guess there was.
Well, who the hell won the Cy Youngs?
Yeah, it wasn't them. It wasn't them. We know this guy's really good. I didn't think he won 20, though. Part of that Braves staff.
Oh, Kyle Wright?
Strider.
No. Oh, Spencer Strider.
Kyle
Wright won 25 for him a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Is he on there? No. Oh, because this is the most recent. That's right. And then this one just hurts a little bit. 18.
2018.
In 2018, the Guardians had a guy.
Max Scherzer?
Came to the Rangers just a year or so later.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. The
Kluber. Yeah.
The
Corey Kluber.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, anyway. Speaking of Scherzer, he won 20 as the last guy to do it for one of his teams way back in 2013.
Oh, I know that one. He won the Cy Young. The Detroit Tigers. He beat Yu Darvish.
Your team.
Yeah.
Your boys.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think Esteban Loaiza, if I'm reading this correctly, is no longer incarcerated.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent, Esteban. Congratulations. This should be a great holiday.
TR has written this, that whatever year, the year that they got Michael Young, or traded for Michael Young, Loaiza was driving Johnny Oates crazy. And apparently Johnny Oates said to Doug Melvin, it's either Loaiza or it's me. And so, boom, Esteban Loaiza to Toronto for Michael Young and another guy.
So I was right. He was part of that trade. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I thought you were talking about the
Phillies at the other end. Yeah. No. Yeah, I was pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It was Loaiza for Michael Young.
And Darwin Kublian is the other guy that came from Toronto. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't remember Darwin, but we all remember Michael.
He's got the information.
I'm telling you, that's an encyclopedia.
I think I listened to TR while he was drinking a lot of these. So.
Right.
And TR circling IPA.
Boo, it's been fun.
Yeah,
man.
It's been fun.
We appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you guys being there each and every day like you are. Jeff and I will be back on Monday. It's kind of a crazy week next week, but we'll be here Monday, and then we're off Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're all remote Thursday, and then we're back Friday. So, it's a holiday week. Everybody enjoy that. But come Monday, I think we're going to have Bassick on. So we're going to have another guest. And we're just running through our fun and having fun with our guests and having fun with you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
we'll
everybody.
See you all on Monday for another edition of the DLLS Rangers Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.